Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm here, and it is Christmas Eve. Those that are out there and under the sound of my voice, if you're ready for the show tonight, let's start the show. Five, four, three, two. Hey. Welcome to Unveiled Vibrations, where we come together and have the conversation vibrating and resonating with the other side of silence. Breaking our silence is what it is all about. Having the conversation about the things that we have on our minds and saying the quiet parts out loud. I am your host, TD McCollum. This platform also features me from time to time. We'll come up here and dabble in some music. To get things started, I like to light my candle. Setting the mood of the space. And tonight is a special one indeed. So this evening, I got a couple of topics I'm gonna hit on, and then hit some things light and fun. But first, I would like to say hello to those that are here with me this evening, and I am also going to be dropping the call-in link shortly on this Christmas Eve. I'd like to say hello to Destin Butler. Welcome. He says hi to everyone. And I say hello to you, good, kind sir. We have JoJo Speaks. Mr. JoJo Speaks is in the house. He says, hey, Tyrone and Dustin. And we have the beautiful Miss Kim is here. She says, Merry Christmas Eve. Hey, Tyrone. Hey, Dustin. Hey, Jonathan. Hey to you, my dear. Merry Christmas Eve to you as well. And JoJo Speaks says the same. Back to you. Merry Christmas to you as well, Miss Kim. Okay. Without further ado, some of my topics tonight. Xania Monet, Fani Willis, our dear darling Nicki is back in the news. The economy and some light filled clips that I found on the net. All right. Those that are unaware, uh, in these musical streets, there has been a lot of back and forth between traditional musicians like myself and new up and coming um, artificial intelligent prompters that are filling the space pretty quick of the music industry with prompted music on platforms such as Suno. Um, I forgot the other platform that a lot of people go to that's pretty popular. And in this particular case, Xania Monet is a artist of artificial intelligent creation. Um, Earlier this year, I believe it was, the creator of this artist um, signed a record deal for about $3 million, and um, the streets, far as the traditional musician streets, were kind of in an uproar because of um, many of them had believed that artificial intelligence is on a path to replace traditional musicians because of the speed and in addition to that, how many of those traditional artists music that artificial intelligence was trained off of to create its versions of music um, without paying those artists. And my God, um, several music producers and current traditional artists have spoken out against artificial intelligence music. My stance on it is I don't know enough about artificial intelligence. I haven't had my chance to sit down with it and play with it. Although I have worked with artificial intelligence, the GPT, far as dealing with resume rewriting, I've dabbled with asking it about um, creating lyrics for a potential song, but I wasn't too comfortable with the results and the things that I was hearing about the copyright aspect of it, knowing that currently that is an issue because if said works is primarily created by artificial intelligence, the US Copyright Office deems it not copyrightable. And therefore, um, it becomes a little bit of red tape that you have to go through in far as in terms of trying to release this music because many of the digital service providers that help artists like me distribute those music creations out to the public, to people like you that are watching this podcast right now, um, they say we can't do it if it's 100%. And I know platforms like Suno have made it where there's a license that's issued to that creator that allows them to commercially release and utilize that music to generate income off of. Um, it becomes quite interesting to me. I'm not sure if I'm ready to dance with AI because I'm kind of a purist at heart, and um, creating from scratch is something that I'm used to doing. And I know music producer circling around this whole Suno thing and has had legal problems with all kinds of things, unethical things, and just cultural bash against him for using it was Timberland. Um, from what I've seen and people I follow who's had conversations with him and seeing his lives where they were saying that, hey, you were utilizing these people's music and training your AI off of their music without giving them credit or getting consent. And it gets real kind of swirly. And then a gentleman that I follow who is a mix engineer bashed Timberland for how his AI music sound versus what he used to release and how disappointed he was. And then they had a conversation one day on TikTok Live. Timberland came up, pulled up on him, and was like, "Hey, man, I heard you talking about me. Hey, let's have this conversation." And seeing them have the conversation, and where Timberland reveals that the stuff that he creates on AI platform, he doesn't leave as is. He goes back and recreates it with his production team and real artists, and then releases it. In this particular situation with Xania Monet, it's not the case where the I would say the puppet master behind the curtain, uh, in a bit of a Wizard of Oz aspect of things. Here, um, the young lady, she is a poet author, and she has been turning her poems into lyrics for this AI to perform on songs, and using Suno as a platform to create those songs, and then going to Open Art as a platform in which she utilizes to generate the visual aspects of the artist that she created. And I appreciate the love here. JoJo Speak says, make sure you smash the thumbs up, everybody, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button because that's how you will be able to know what I'm up to over here, know when I'm going live, and know when I'm posting. Um, I have some ideas that I'm going to start to implement in 2026, and I don't want you to miss it. So smash the subscribe button today. Anyway, back to my topic. Um, a while back there was an interview with that she did, and she kind of explained a little bit, and I want to share that interview here with you guys and kind of let you know what my thoughts are in this. She was on the Tambourine show, and give me 1 second to get this thing functionable. the Tamara Hall show. Um, and I praise her for not hiding in the background and sharing her story. Um, because getting signed as an artist is not an easy thing. And there has to be something there for it to actually come to fruition that you get signed. Um, all right. Here we go.
Hi, you guys. I just want to take a moment to say thank you. The love.
And to let everybody know, this is the visual aspect of the artist that this young lady created. Um, this isn't actually a real person. This is her adaptation and vision of what her artist would be personified.
The support, the videos, the feedback. It truly means so much to me. I'm at a loss for words, but I want you to know we're on this healing journey together.
We've been talking with Talisha Nicki Jones, the woman behind the AI superstar Xania Monet, a digital artist changing everything we thought we knew about music. So I had a different reaction seeing her talk versus singing. Yes. I don't know what it was about seeing her lock eyes that gave me the willies. I'm just using the language that I grew up in.
Look, Tamarin, I gotta kind of agree with you on that right there. The locking of the eyes with artificial intelligence. If you're aware that it's artificial intelligence generated material, it does kind of mess with you a little bit because of how um, to be a little facetious. It tries to mimic real life in a kind of a Pinocchio way. I'm not a puppet, I'm a real boy. And I'll go into that a little bit more after this. Because there was an incident that happened recently that all I could do was kind of chuckle about it. And I'll let you know how I feel about it afterwards. But listen to this story.
In Luling, Texas, it gave me the willies. Have you heard people say like something about when she sings, and maybe it's the lyrics, versus when she's actually talking to me?
I haven't really did a lot of talking videos.
Yeah.
I do a lot of singing videos, and that's what they love. I think they love the talking videos that I have posted, but I see a lot of feedback on the singing videos.
I do also want to point out the music as well is also AI generated.
Correct. Just not.
Do you play any instruments?
I don't.
Nothing.
No.
You play the computer.
That's it.
To sit there and I to find out that she doesn't play any musical instruments, but she creates the lyrics. I don't find anything wrong with that because there are a lot of songwriters in the industry that's all they do is come up with lyrics. The melodies, the background music, that's somebody else.
So, and you keep emphasizing to people that this is like a keyboard. When synthesizers first came out, people thought it wasn't real music or electric guitar.
Right.
Some purists don't like that. That you compare that in the same.
Correct. A tool, an instrument.
A tool.
Yes.
So you use the software called Open Art.
Yes.
Which is an AI-powered art platform. You're going to walk us through not the song creation, but how you created her physically.
Right.
Because that's a sore spot for some people as well.
Exactly.
There's a belief that, well, what's to stop? For example, she presents as a Black woman. She's singing this soulful. There's nothing to prevent somebody, a white guy behind a computer,
Right.
to what sometimes I guess the kids say co-op culture.
Right.
Does that concern you?
This part of the conversation is so eye-opening because many of us don't really consider the fact of culture vulture as being a potential avenue that people will use this tool, AI, as. But I'll let her continue.
No, not at all.
So you feel like anyone should be able to create, any artist, from any ethnic background, any gender, it doesn't have to be their background or their gender.
If you're a creator and this is your art,
this is what you're creating. Okay.
To know that art is being viewed in this moment as being I would say, maybe in a bit of a non-binary sense of there's no color, there's no race, there's no gender. It's just art. I kind of agree with that we should be able to look at it, but society has put us in this box of, well, because of the notion that art imitates life, that life that brings forth that art must be the primary influence of the creation of that art, if that makes sense.
So take us through the process of how the physical form takes place here.
okay, so open art is what I use. Xania is already trained into this system. So it recognizes her. So at this moment, all I have to do is put her wherever I want her to be. I can say I want Xania in a soft lit studio. I want Xania on the beach, on a boat.
How specific were you? Were you down? I mean, she has long hair.
Right.
You picked the length of her hair.
Right.
You picked the position of her part.
No, I did it. I didn't do that. When I first created her, I was just like, give me a caramel brown skinned woman, like 5'8".
Did you say someone who looks like this person?
No.
Did you give an idea?
No.
Did you use any of your own? Because she resembles you, but doesn't.
So she was one of my experiments.
She was one of your twins?
No.
No.
So my AI twin name was Nina. Xania was just like a social media influencer along with 3 other characters that I created. They were like my experiments when I was learning and teaching.
Okay.
So when the music came about like a month later, instead of creating a new character, I just repurposed Xania.
Okay.
So that's how that came about.
All right. So you've obviously made.
So far, all I hear in this is I created, which, in my opinion, is okay. I think where people begin to get upset at was the next couple parts.
Made her. She's extremely attractive.
Yes.
She's got a great body.
Yes.
What else did you ask for in her?
That was it. Basically a caramel brown lady, like 5'7", 5'8".
Down to her
long
height, 'cause
hair.
we don't see how tall she is. But you put
In
her
some
height
videos
in
you
some
will see.
videos you can
Yeah.
see long hair.
Long black hair. And
Some of them she has a ring on her wedding. Is she married?
no, she's
Okay.
single.
Okay, she's single. I saw a ring.
She's
I was
single.
like,
It's
is she
just
married?
decoration. It's just
Okay.
decoration.
Just decoration. Okay,
Yeah.
so take us through some more.
So you can put it wherever you want to put it because she's trained into this system.
Mhm.
So if I say, give me Xania in a softly recording studio, again, she's already trained in this system. So that's why you see the Xania 3 right here.
Uh-huh.
And from there, I just hit create. It's gonna give you 3 different images to choose from. You kind of come up with your 3 choices.
Oh.
And from there, we do image to video. And right here, I just kind of say what I want her to do.
So you just put in, you want her softly singing with hand gesture.
Correct. And at this point, this is no music. This is just the video generation.
Oh, okay. And that was just from the prompts you put in.
Yes.
And then from there, you can layer in your song.
Correct.
One of your songs.
This is the part where I believe most people began to have their problem with this AI. What began to happen, and I'll back up a couple comments here. To JoJo Speak says, it's all creepy to me personally. And J Star Bright says, I'm not interested in AI. I can't stand the thought of human creativity being placed on behind AI. The problem I think came into play where she began to mimic what real artists do, or the perception of what real artists do. Being in a softly lit recording studio setting, as someone that is in a process of creating a new song or music video to add as a behind the scenes look of what real artists do. And I think people began to look at it as a bit of a replacement theory or satire or even imitation, and without flattery, the imitation without flattery. And I think that's where people felt disrespected because of how close the image begins to look to real life. And what's interesting to me is how well-rounded the artificial intelligence begins to morph as you add layers on top of what functionality you want to provide to it to do. As you create the atmosphere of the image that you're trying to portray publicly to something that isn't truly an existing figure.
It's called Social Media Lies. I want to play this.
And seeing this here makes you like, wait a minute.
Connection don't look like that.
To hear the audience reaction cheering for it makes you think that people are accepting of it. And the real question becomes, what makes it acceptable? And all I can think of is how familiar it begins to look as it mimics a real person's potential personality, the facial appearance of sadness and happiness and seriousness and regret, all the emotional things that humans would typically portray in a music video. but I have great respect for what she was able to do. I just wonder what within her made her not decide to not want to pursue the years of learning how to sing. I know that she spent the years on writing poems and such and being able to formulate lyrics in some type of rhyme or fashion. But why not go the extra mile? Why go here into technology instead of within what God gave you? And many people may say, hey, well, God led her to artificial intelligence. It's a branch, an extension of the mind that God gave her. And me as a traditional musician, I'm at this space of I'm finding it very hard to create stuff as quick as the industry desires. Nowadays, when it comes to releasing music, if you're not releasing albums, the new standard is to release a single once a month. There are some artists that have gone the extra mile to release at least 2 singles per month, if not more. I know a particular artist, I can't remember their name right now, but they were at one time releasing a single per week. And that particular artist never went through the process of having their stuff mixed and mastered. They were just flooding. If they put it down and it sounded good enough to them, they were dropping it on SoundCloud, dropping it on Spotify, and didn't care. And what was so interesting about it was the fact that they were able to generate a fan base off of it, enough to where they were able to do a small concert and do a little mini tour. It's quite fascinating. And when it comes to potentially adding artificial intelligence, I have to, for me personally, I have to learn its limitations and learn the system itself before I want to release anything to the world. Because I am that in depth in music because of my training in school and being able to put music together is more surgical for me than just creating a prompt of words and throwing it into a system that will generate sound based off of its interpretation of what I said. And I think as AI begins to unfold in the music industry, we'll see more people like this young lady show up. And she got a little bit more here to share.
Obviously, the fact that the song is called Social Media Lies, people are asking ourselves, is it a lie? Is it real? You had that very powerful quote about innovation. And I know that since you've come out, a big part of the conversation is you believe women need to wake up.
Yes.
That we're being left behind.
We are. We're focusing on the wrong things. Social media being one. Everyone's trying to prove a point to people on social media who really don't even matter. and not happy with what they're really doing in their own life.
And you feel your business success should be that, canary in the coal mine. Because as I said to someone the other day, listen, when you look at all of the social media platforms, they're all run and owned by men.
Right.
Men who
It's true.
at a certain time were in college dorm rooms teaching each other something the rest of us are now addicted to.
Correct. Not enough women.
Not enough women.
Not enough women.
And now you're saying, instead of criticizing your artists and your accomplishment, look and learn.
Step on board.
Step on board. Yes. I love that quote you said, when innovation steps in, the world has two options, fight it or adjust. And eventually they adjust.
That statement alone is a bit of it's a bit telling of where she is coming from. When innovation steps in, the world has two options: fight it or adjust. And eventually they adjust. It's a bit of a true false statement to me. When we think about everything and the thought of the things that are innovative, that's truly innovative, and how everybody was combative towards it, but now embrace it. Everyone was terrified of cell phones and how it was going to fry out our brains because of the radio frequencies. But now everyone uses it. People said that same thing about Bluetooth. And to take it as far back as the automobile. Man wasn't meant to run on wheels, but yet still the world runs on wheels. Man wasn't meant to fly, but now it's more common for us to take a flight to another state, city, country than ever than before. And now the second half of the statement becomes eventually they adjust. But in the environments that people don't adjust, there are a lot of people that haven't moved on from listening to their music on CD versus streaming. There are a lot of diehard purists that will hold on to it until it's gone, and it's quite astonishing, this statement. And what I believe is happening with AI is there's a bit of both truths in this. People are going to fight against it because they don't know enough, and it doesn't feel like they are a part of the creation process anymore. It feels like they're being replaced. And I think about the old guys that were recording to reel tapes back in the day in the recording studios, or the guys that will splice videotape on in the movie cutting room, how they quote unquote were pushed out of jobs because of the digital movement. And what I feel a lot of musicians are fearing is that they will be pushed out of the way. Um, I thought about it myself, and here's the thing that I came to: nothing new truly comes out from AI. It feels new, but it's all borrowed material because it learned it from everything else. And that's the one thing about the music industry is it's been influencing itself for thousands of years. To go back to Bach versus Mozart, they were they influenced each other. Beethoven influenced Mozart. Mozart influenced a lot of artists, all the way up to famous trumpeters like Dizzy Gillespie, who then influenced people like Kenny G, who influenced somebody like me to play saxophone. It it's a lot of layers, is what I want to call it. Just layers. Let me get to y'all comments. Uh Jennifer J Star Bright says, um, but how? The bulk of today's popular music comes from people of color. I'm sure people would attempt to take advantage. Absolutely. People will find a way to try and make a buck. And um in trying to find to make a buck out of something, I feel like they will um cross the line when in terms of the culture appropriation and being offensive and all that, like, because money is on the line. And even in this situation here, her first thought is, I want to represent women. Um, there going to be someone out there that's going to say, well, if you're representing women, what about the men? What about this and that also? And that becomes a whole spinoff of a conversation from all of this. J Star Bright also asked, who is singing? The AI or the creator? Unfortunately, it's all AI generated vocally, but the lyrics themselves are Talicia's. Ms. Kim says, I only use AI. I only use AI for work and creating icons for my social media apps. I didn't even know creating a singer was possible. A lot of people don't know uh, the full scale of what AI can create. Um, there's a couple of apps out there like Midjourney that you can create videos of artists that are much longer in duration than 7 seconds. And we'll get into the whole 7 seconds in a little bit. because I got a couple of other videos to share. But
Or just, and eventually they adjust.
eventually, I do believe the world will adjust,
So are
because I saw a future in a vision that I had in which these AI artists did eventually begin to tour. And yes, they were holograms and images of them up on jumbotrons, while DJs and other people were manipulating their songs on the stage. The band was playing along with them. And that's probably 10 years from now, maybe 5 years, and on the short side, that will come into play. And when that day comes, there is a whole new world of income that people will be able to dive into. The aspect of full blown animation of a character like Xania Monet. I can't pronounce the, the AI's name right for nothing. I'm sorry. It's just so weird, and I think it's because of the disconnect of knowing that she isn't real, but to this young lady, she is real. The way that she speaks of her, as you heard earlier, she speaks of her as in a
Are you
existing
working on
person.
a new artist? Are you working on a band?
No new artists. Zanaya is just the focus for now.
No new artist.
Zanaya.
Focusing on her.
Right.
But you're such a forward-thinking person. I can't believe you don't have the next one lined up here.
More for Zanaya, not for new artists.
No, more for her. More
Right.
music.
Yes, more music. I want to put her in classrooms, teach more kids tech, award shows. We want to do everything different.
Well, you definitely.
To know that she's in a classroom teaching younger generations than her how to do that, it is the young generation that will replace us job wise using AI. Let me get to my next video regarding this, because things got kind of hot out here in the streets, and what I found interesting was supposedly there's a beef going on between Kalani and this AI artist. And I'm like, how are you beefing with artificial intelligence? Make that make sense. So, unknown to you guys, but I've seen several posts by Kalani. She alleges that this artist has been pretty much biting off of her style and as far as vocals goes, and kind of tailgating her career wise. She released a song called Folded. The album released by this AI is titled Unfolded. And Kalani definitely believes that artists, real artists, should be rewarded by being signed to record labels, not artificial intelligence. And she's one that it sounds like she believes that AI is trying to replace us humans And we're on a dangerous path of artificial intelligence replacing good musicians after it learned from said musicians and artists like her. And the AI responded with a bit of a R&B diss track, what you would say. I can't even say it with a straight face because it doesn't. It's just all silly to me.
Every time you hear my lines, I wasn't trying to compete, wasn't trying to compare. But funny how you went to the media first, talking about my, you know my work. You don't know the nights I cried to write, or how many songs healed somebody's life. You say I ain't real, you say I don't create, but your voice shake a little every time you hate. Cause deep
Like,
down
what?
you know I'm destined to shine, and you feel that pressure every time you hear my.
And what's so
I ain't never
interesting?
mention you, never threw shade, but you stay in my light like you self-made. You could've
JD
reached out, we could've shown
Jermaine Dupri
love, but you
also
chose ego
feels
instead of
like
lifting me up. And it's sad, cause this industry
pushing
cold,
AI
but you colder
is
when your heart turns.
definitely
Also say my name with respect, cause everything you ain't expect. I didn't ask for
going
the
a little bit
fame or
too
the
far
hype, didn't ask to be the one
with
folks
this.
like. I ain't never mention you, never threw shade, but you stay in my light like you self-made. You could've reached out, we could've shown love, but you
And
chose ego instead.
he says, so let me get this right. Years ago, the industry found out that Milli Vanilli weren't really the voice on their Grammy winning record, and they were stripped of their Grammy, which is true. This happened. But now we're getting ready to accept people who can't even sing, create songs for a fake person. How is this any different than Milli Vanilli? Wow. Kalani says, I'm genuinely sad for people who are trying to come up and their space is being taken up by a computer program. Two, people saying, damn, I didn't care. She's so relatable. I don't care. She's so relatable. It, not she, is taking all the data it's collecting on us and what we want. There's a lot to unpack there. Because I hear what she's saying, how we're so quickly to run to, and I would borderline say give our support for something that we can't physically see grow as an artist. This whole notion of that she can be anything. This is something that they tell us as humans, that we can be anything that we want to be until we reach the ceiling. And once we reach that ceiling, it's all right, now know your place. And I feel with this AI thing and how JD feels, yeah, true. I have to agree with you. They did Millie and Vanilli so bad. The performance aspect of them not being the vocalist, but the visual aspect of it and being stripped away of their Grammy. But yet we have this artist here who comes out and says, hey, I just write the lyrics. I use AI to create the vocals and the music behind it. The biggest difference I can see is Milli Vanilli was presented as a package that was made perfect. And we found out that it was imperfect. With Xania Monet, the package is being presented and we are seeing the imperfections up front. The imperfection being she's artificial. She's being fed what to sing by this poet. That poet is utilizing artificial intelligence to create based off of her works. And the visual aspect of it is the fake part because she doesn't exist based on flesh and blood. Going and looking at both of those, what we had to realize was the facade that Milli and Vanilli presented. Yeah, they were talented dancers and they could perform well, but the actual meat and potatoes that brought people to them wasn't of their own. And the industry tried to hide it. With this one, she's not trying to hide anything. She's trying to be upfront with it all. And so I'll say it like this. This is a bit of preference at the end of the day. And I got a couple of others that I want to share with you guys because their preferences become, I'll say, quite interesting. A young man by the name of Curtis King has this to say.
First of all, harmonizing your way through the intro of a diss song gotta be the stupidest I ever heard in my life. What is this AI face? Is she sad? Does she gotta diss somebody? Yesterday somebody whacked out my server.
Funny how you went to the media first, talking about my pen like you know my work.
Her first complaint was that Kehlani didn't come to her and express her grievance. Where is her? How do you reach her? Do you gotta put a metaverse mask on? Do you have a phone number?
You don't know the nights
Valid
I
question.
cried,
The nights I cried. If you cried, your motherboard would fry.
or how many
he
songs
choked.
killed somebody's life.
How about how many songs did you take from? Give or take 10 million? The technology that you use has stolen from over 10 million songs clawed around the internet without the permission of the creators. And now we talking about some inspirations?
I wasn't trying to compete, wasn't trying to compare, but you keep speaking on me like I ain't right there.
She said, I wasn't trying to compete. I wasn't trying to compare. How do you compete when you stole the thing you're using to compete with? That's like me jumping on a basketball court, cutting both of LeBron's legs off, somehow getting them surgically put on my legs. And then all of a sudden I'm jumping high and I'm like, I wasn't trying to compete with you, LeBron. I was just trying to mind my business and play my game. Do you guys understand that this whole thing would not exist had they not stole?
I didn't ask for the fame or the hype.
I didn't ask for the fame or the hype. We've had enough of this shit, Xania Monet. Unplug this heifer.
Didn't ask to be the one folks like, but if my words cut deep and make change.
You know the funniest part? She keep on glitching because she can't get no more than 7 seconds of her to exist in this video.
I ain't never mentioned you, never threw shade.
Because if you steal, you're not supposed to mention the niggas. You can't use human arguments. I ain't never mentioned you. I was only minding my business. You was stealing. Imagine if I walked in your house and you was in there eating a delicious ribeye sandwich and I just ate it in front of your face. And then you smacked the dog shit out of me. And I said, I ain't never said your name. I ain't never hurt your pockets. You see how stupid this shit sound?
But you chose ego instead of lifting me up.
You chose ego instead of lifting me up? How am I supposed to lift you up? Like this? That's how I lift you up? All this AI talk about it's the future, it's the future. You have yet to see what it can create independent of human beings. All this shit is generative AI. We have officially found our way.
Man. Those are his opinions on this AI stuff. And I honestly, some of their points I kind of agree with, and some I'm just like, you're just trolling, and it's cool. That's your preference. The fact that Suno, which is not alleged, it is true, they have trained their AI platform off of thousands of artists. And did not give credit, did not license it. And until recent, they were fighting against the record labels. Warner Music is the first to become a partner with them, allowing them access to their catalog and their artists' music. We all know what happened in that. They pretty much bought into it and became an investor to that whole aspect of things. And what they saw was the future of money to be made. And yeah, there's money to be made in this AI music. Once they allow it to go through. And what's happening right now, the leader of the current world, aka United States, wants to roll back regulations on AI so they could pretty much profit from it and take advantage of its untapped potential. But the real issue becomes is what is training and paving the way forward of this AI? Is it learning specifically off of stuff that has been created? And if so, are those people that involved being compensated? Or as he said, Curtis King here is saying, like, are you guys going to allow AI to continue to rob and pillage the community of musicians in hopes that it would line your pockets, and don't give a damn about those that are hurt along the way? Like me, like if I'm putting the song out, and this is one of the reasons why I pull my music from Spotify. Spotify was using its platform to funnel into artificial intelligence to allow it to learn from all the music on Spotify and not pay any artist, no matter how little or how much it was utilizing. I'm like, first off, y'all not paying me for the little amount of streams that I do get. That's number one. Number two, you're going to allow artificial intelligence to utilize my music to further it, but not further me. Nah, I'm yanking the plug. And on to the next aspect of this whole preference thing and back and forth with AI. Gentlemen, Isaac Hayes III had this to say.
Artists like Xania Monet. This is Xania Monet's song called Daddy. Take a listen.
Do you see me now? Do you know the pain your absence carved out? I wonder who I'd be if you stayed by my side, if you wipe my tears, if you check my pride.
Okay, now here's a song I just created with Suno using some prompts. And this is Xania Monet too.
Say you feel it in the noise, say you hear me through the riot, say I'm more than just a voice. I just wanna be real, I just want you to hear that.
So see, using an AI generated voice, there's no intellectual property that stops me from creating these same songs and putting them out. Of course, I'd have to change the name, but it's the same voice. So that's the problem. Anybody that creates an AI generated artist does not have any protection from someone else taking that exact same voice and making their own songs, which is why this whole thing is a clusterfuck. But I just wanted to show you how easy it is to prompt Xania Monet yourself and put those songs up on iTunes and Spotify and make money just as well. That's why I say signing a $3 million record deal, something doesn't sound right here. I'm just saying that Suno has to allow that. So there's some sort of other agenda going on here that I'd be curious to know, because I just made Xania Monet on Suno myself.
That proposed with, okay. Full context here. So Isaac Hayes III is saying that there's no originality when utilizing AI. And the fact that she used the Suno platform to create this persona, Xania Monet, the specific voice that she's using isn't unique. And with the right amount of time and ingenuity from whatever person, they could create something utilizing the same voice and profit from it the same way that this young lady has. And ultimately he's saying it's not worth $3 million. It's generic at this point. It's basic. If you're willing to put in the work, the weird part about it is what makes this artist, this AI artist, is its handler with her poems and the lyrics that she creates. That's it. The industry is selling itself short. And it's telling where the industry is right now. The telltale to me is the industry is hurting for moolah because they don't have it. It's not a lot of money going in the industry right now. And it's most unfortunate. Am I saying the AI is bad? No, it's not bad. Ultimately, what I am saying, for me as an artist, I have no use of it right now because it's plain Jane. And although I've heard some great tracks produced by Suno, there's some elements in it that I feel personally is lacking the soul of a real artist. And when I think about the replacement theory of, well, AI is just going to flood the market with generic songs, pretty much bare bones songs. You got intro, verse, chorus, bridge, maybe, outro. As long as it has those 5 parts and it sounds good to the a decent amount of people, it's here to stay. Next case. Oh, let's go. Ladies and gents, I don't know if you have been under a rock, but Miss Fani Willis has been in the fight of her life. And these folks have been, quote unquote, drilling her. But she been giving them the business, man. I don't know if anybody's seen these videos, but I got a couple of them I want to share with y'all. And boy, was she giving it to them, in my opinion. Here we go.
January 24th of 2022. Does that seem like it's within the range of being the correct thing?
So I already stated I don't trust you. I understand you're trying to run for lieutenant governor right now. Anything you want me to see?
Okay. Were you aware that in between the time of the special grand jury being sworn in and receiving evidence, Mr. Wade traveled to Athens, Georgia to meet with officials from the White House counsel's office?
I don't recall.
On the right-hand side here is the meeting that I reference. The highlighted section reads, travel to Athens, conf with White House.
How does this
counsel.
assist you in developing laws for Georgia? Because I believe the purpose that I'm here for is because you all need assistance in doing your job, and you want assistance with rules and regulations around how people should be a prosecutor. And it made sense to me that you'd come to the best prosecutor in the state to ask for some advice. But I'm confused as to how this assists you and what the purpose of me being here is.
The committee has a broad purpose. I'd be happy to refer to counsel as to the overall purpose of the committee. But my question for you is, as it relates
I don't
to
think it's relevant, so I'm objecting on relevance.
She's asking, she's told you that the TUI process goes through the White House counsel.
Man.
She's asking, it's been asked and answered.
So all of this is stemmed back to the 2020 election, where the current occupant of the White House decided to want to circumvent the election in his favor and reached out to the officials here in Georgia in attempts to find more votes so he can be declared the winner of said election of 2020. That didn't go in his favor, and the prosecutor, because it fell under her district of Fulton County, Fani Willis, was on his ass about it and was in the midst of building her case, and they wanted to pull the rug and pull the wind out of her sail because she was, like I said, on his ass. And now they call themselves trying to get on her, and she's like, nope, that wasn't me. That wasn't my business. Why are you asking me? What does this have to do with anything? You're trying to smear me. And it becomes apparent too. Somehow I love this stream. I don't know how. But I hope I am back. Let me get this up. They allegedly trying to grill this Fani, and I hope and pray that this whole thing with Fani Willis is put to bed. Recently, the case against Mr. Trumpet Cankles was dismissed by another district attorney that was assigned to it, because of, favors that they were extending to each other. It's a part of that good old boy. Unfortunately. But this is my last book I am sharing from the exchange that she had recently. And I found it even more interesting than the first one I shared with
you. The investigation into the 2020 presidential election.
what you ask is a factual impossibility. That's what we call a lie. I had no way of knowing that these criminals were going to commit a crime. I didn't wait till the day I took office to look for talent that would represent my office for a case that didn't exist.
Do you want to answer?
It's a dumbass question.
I know it is, but go ahead and tell him because it occurred after.
I didn't know that he was going to commit a crime prior to me taking office.
What was the total cost of the election interference case?
I don't know the exact cost. I don't want to speculate to numbers. Whatever it cost, they tried to steal the rights of thousands of Georgians. It couldn't have been enough.
Has Mr. Wade ever prosecuted a RICO case prior to the election interference case?
And Mr. Wade would be the first one in the office. He corrected their behavior. He taught them how to do this case. He was a leader to that team and a public servant. And for that, him like me has been threatened. You want something to investigate as a legislature? Investigate how many times they called me the N-word. Why don't you investigate that? Why don't you investigate them writing on my house? Why don't you investigate the fact that my house has been swatted? What have you done, sir? Nothing.
Well, I go get him, Miss Willis. Go get him. Miss Kim says, Team Fani forever. They are so bothered by a fearless, intelligent black woman who dares to call their illegal activities out and bring a lawsuit against Kangles. I love it too. In the words of J-Stop right here, child. I enjoyed all the smoke that Ms. Willis had been giving them over the last week. And when we come back in the new year, I'm waiting for the new highlights to come up. Oh, I can't wait. Because they trying to make a mockery of her as a black woman in a role in which they are trying to circumvent. And unfortunately, it appears they had succeeded. It took them a while because she had them dead to rights. Because old Kinkles, as Miss Kim puts it, made a phone call, an illegal phone call that was, to try and stir the election away from the will of the Georgian people. Yes, sir, Kangles. Your day is coming. And we can't wait. All right. Next case. Oh my God. Darling Nicki. Girl. What you doing out here? Hanger? What you doing? Our darling Nicki Minaj is back in the headlines. Recently going to a summit in which quite a few of us out here are quite disappointed in her. And the fact that she decided to take her hips into a space that is absolutely, positively not meant for her to be in. And let's roll the beautiful bean footage.
The utmost respect and admiration for our president. He has, I don't know if he even knows this, but he's given so many people hope that there's a chance to beat the bad guys.
What do you mean by that? Who are the bad guys are you talking about? Are you talking about Democrats? Liberals? Progressives? What do you mean by that?
And to win and to do it with your head held high and your integrity intact.
Integrity of this current president? Interesting.
He's from Queens, New York, like me. So, but what it's shown me personally is sometimes, you know, even in the worst feeling times in your life, you think that you're never going to come back from it.
You're never gonna come back from it. I wish I had the X-Files theme song because it's so weird hearing her talk this way. And there's more.
But you do. And our president shows that. He's been through every single thing a person could be through publicly. Having to constantly be lied on. It's not really
Constantly being lied on with facts. Interesting. It's a lie when said person says it's a lie. But when there's evidence, the facts are there for you to see. And yet still,
that funny.
It's funny to you that the facts are still viewed as lies.
Until you are in that person's shoes that's being lied on, you'll never understand what it feels like. That person is a human being. They have a family who has to read those lies. And that's not...
I understand that. I understand that, Nicki, that family has to experience life with the person. The family of the Unabomber had to experience the life that he blew up places. Does it still make it a lie that he blew up a place in Oklahoma? Because they knew, the family knew what he was capable of and didn't believe that he would do it until he did it. It doesn't make it a lie when the facts are presented. The facts are not alternative facts, aka lies. They're facts.
And it's just not fair. But you do. And we won't be silenced ever again. We will speak up for Christians wherever they are in this world.
We will speak up for Christians wherever they are in this world. Does that mean that you're going to speak up for the Christians that are in Puerto Rico? The Christians in China? The Christians in Brazil? The Christians in South Africa? Or just the Christians that you choose? Which Christians are there? Are there black Christians right here in America that you're going to speak up for? Or is it just the evangelical Christians that we're speaking of?
Amen. We won't be silenced ever again. We will speak up for Christians wherever they are in this world. Dear young men, you have amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president. And you have amazing role models like the assassin J.D. Vance, our vice president.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What? You said he's what? Vice President J.D. Vance assassin? What do you mean by that? Assassin to who?
And when I say that,
trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine.
Erica, what do you mean by that? And why do you laugh so hard at this? Or is it that in this space, you weren't taking Nicki serious?
Yes, we did. You have to laugh about it, truly. I have been called every single thing, and you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back. And this is what's so beautiful about this moment, because if the internet wants to clip it, who cares? I love this woman.
Dear young.
What I saw in this very moment right here was there was a clear whistle being blown. What was Nicki alluding to? I will reserve my true feelings for the call-ins. If y'all want to talk about that, we can. As far as Erica saying, I don't care, I love this woman, she's pretty much whistling to the community. I accept her. You need to accept her too. But I digress. And they welcome her with open arms. Nicki Minaj. Or Nicki Maga, as the internet has called her. It's quite interesting how they are accepting Nicki. I saw a post earlier that I found quite interesting, and I want to share that because Charlie Kirk didn't agree at all. Hang on 1 second. Let me find that one. And I had to say, like, oh my, my. When I found this,
dads to leave the home.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls. I don't think that songs that are talking about like glorifying wet female genitalia is exactly, I don't know which one wrote that song. Which one was it?
I think it was Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But but by the way, the role models of the 1940s and 50s for black America were completely different.
So it is a representation issue.
Hold on a second. No.
it is a representation issue. It is a representation issue. Charlie Kirk didn't believe the representation that Nicki Minaj presented was it an adequate representation for the African American community. What makes her such a fit for the MAGA community? Erica, I wonder. Charlie Kirk had a lot more to say about the black community. But it was quite interesting that he would say Nicki Minaj and her music is not a fit. But here we are, utilizing said person. One of the other posts that I came across that was quite astonishing. This gentleman's take on things is quite astonishing.
Revered because she's moved her politics to the right because she's saying that there's Christians that are getting persecuted in Nigeria. Do you remember when Reverend Raphael Warnock ran for Senate in Georgia? Do you remember when 88% of white evangelical Christians voted against him? What?
That's telling. So you have Erica Kirk that brings Nicki Minaj up on stage as their new token black woman. And she's supposedly advocating for Christians. And as he pointed out here, you have a bona fide pastor that's an advocate for Christians that those said Christians are against. Interesting. I'll let you cook some more, young man. Doss, keep going.
Why? Ask yourself the tough questions. Why did 88% of white Christians vote against a devout pastor? The pastor of Martin Luther King's former church, yet can support Nicki Minaj as she makes a turn right at the end of her career. I want you to ignore the fact that Nicki Minaj made a career off of sexually explicit content and just see her and Raphael Warnock as two people who are promoting Christ. Why did one get evangelical support and not the other one? There's an active ingredient in Nicki Minaj's, and it is the promotion of white supremacist talking points. You see, in America,
in one of the other segments up there with Erica Kirk, Nicki was on a rant tangent about African American women fighting against Caucasian women and making said African American women look as if we're chasing a fight with Caucasian women, and it's over beauty. It's all about making the white woman inferior, and because they're not as beautiful as black women. This is quite an interesting propaganda that she was promoting there, because as my experience from the black community, we don't be checking for them like that. We don't be comparing ourselves like that. It is them that do that. It is their fight that they bring to us. And you're saying to them, let's not fight. Black people not fight white women. Black people, let's not fight white men. Let white men dominate us, is what it sounds like, Nicki. And to go into what this young man is saying is like, you're feeding the white supremacists. Huh? How do you not see that, Nicki?
America, white supremacy and Christianity have lines that are so blurred, it's not really clear where one starts and one stops. Do you remember when Lecrae, a very popular black Christian artist, loved by white people,
yes,
loved by white Christians, started speaking out against racism?
Uh-oh.
And his own fans felt betrayed, and they didn't just start calling him woke. He had to beat these woke allegations.
Why did they call him woke? I wonder. By definition, woke, the easy way of saying it is being aware. And so once you are aware, your task then is to make other people aware. That is the essence of being woke. And so bringing awareness to white supremacy within Christianity is a problem for only one side of that. I wonder what side that is.
They started calling him not Christian.
When you care about the lives of African Americans, you are politically progressive and or liberal, and that's stupid.
Stop right there. Before white Christians are Christian, they're white. And they always have been. Your subscription to their good graces has never been based on your devotion to Christ, and has always been based on your commitment to perpetuating the mantle of white supremacy.
Uh-oh. Bring it on home, bro.
But when you go in these spaces, they'll say things like, we don't talk about race here. And some black people buy into this. It's not about the color of your skin. It's about how much you love Jesus. This is the coach of the Boston Celtics.
First time since 1975, this is the NBA Finals where you have two black head coaches. Do you take pride in this?
I wonder how many of those have been Christian coaches.
What do you mean by that? The focus is basketball coaches. The woke part of that is I'm gonna go big with this one. The woke part of that is the fact that how many coaches in the past have there been of African American descent to make it to the finals? Not that many. Now that you're one of two in the finals, you try to take focus off of the achievement of two and reinsert Christianity into it. And at the same time, you're perpetuating that all the others before you got there were non-Christian, that they were unholy because you're standing on the hill of Christ, waving the flag for Christians. I don't understand how that became relevant towards basketball when it's two black coaches standing in a space that we all know for many years, many years, that the NBA had been existent, that opportunity was not afforded to in that position of being head coach. But you really, you took it there. Mm-mm-mm. All right, buddy, wrap it up.
In the comments of that video, there was a suspicious amount of white Christians cheering him on. Of course they were.
Really?
They don't want to focus on race because the American experience, Christian experience, already inherently favors a race. This is evidenced by a clear history of Christianity codifying and justifying slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, lynching, take your pick. So when you as a black person abandon race as something you make decisions on, in the idea that you're doing this in solidarity with your white Christian brothers and sisters, you're the only one. They don't want to talk about racial hierarchies. They just want to vote for candidates that assert them quietly. They don't want to talk about race. They just want to benefit from racialized policies that are nested within the white Christian vision for America. And when you, as black Christians, buy into the okie doke, you're the only one. Something that we're missing.
I have to agree with the gentleman here because it's quite interesting that Nicki would take such a stance as being an advocate for Christians, and I'm all for people's redemption arcs and growth and spirituality. But as many of us have noticed over the years, her actions have not. Is not stating that she is being Christian-like at all. I like when Miss Kim says his. I was never a fan of Nicki. How she used to the word integrity in reference to Cankles is beyond comprehension. Absolutely. And she goes on to say, assassin was a poor word choice. Maybe. There's been whispers and rumblings about that on certain channels around the internet. It sounds like a whistleblow to me. And Ms. Kim also says, how is Erica able to move on after her husband's tragic loss of life? Something is up. Yeah. I was going to do a whole segment on that. I decided not to for time's sake, because I know I will be up here for 4 hours. And because of the amount of heat that our dear darling Nicki has been receiving in the midst of backlash, guess what happened, y'all? She flew the coop after they said 10,000 or more followers on Instagram unfollowed her after her recent antics with Erica Kirk. She deleted her Instagram account. If you were on a righteous path, you would have stood in this 10 toes down. But because she wasn't, we began to unfold and unpack what possible alleged reasons. And I stress the whole allegedly because I don't know what's true or not on this. People around the internet have been alleging that the whole reason why she's aligned herself with this party of people occupying the White House is because she wants some type of favor. What said favor could be, I will not say here because I don't know. But that's what the streets are saying. And based on Miss Nicki's actions, I started to believe the streets. And frankly, I'm just like, girl, you got a problem. And I don't see you coming out of that on top the way that you thought you would. Because I think you are absolutely desperate for attention. And up until now, you didn't care the amount of attention, whether good or bad, came your way. As long as you got the attention on you. And when this heat came your way, this time it was too much. And you decided, I'm going to check out. No. Gavin Newsom ain't had to do this to you. You did it to yourself. In the words of DJ Khaled, you played yourself. On to my next case. The economy is in an interesting state. And our White House correspondent has quite a bit to say regarding how things are going and how people have been reporting it. Here's what she had to say.
To effect next year. So the best is yet to come. The president is digging our country out of the economic hole that the previous administration put us in, and that's what he's talking about.
It was a year ago, as you know, and grocery prices have been up. So we've covered the economy, but there's mixed signals in terms of what that looks like. But inflation
is down from where it was. As measured by the overall CPI, it has slowed to an average 2.5% pace. This is down from what the president inherited. The president inherited 2.9% in January. Today, it's at about 2.5%. So we're trending in the right direction with more to come. And I would remind you, when President Trump left office in his first term, inflation was 1.7%. And the previous administration jacked it up to a record high 9%. So again, in 10 months, the president has clawed us out of this hole. He's kept it low at 2.5%. And we believe that number is going to continue to decline, especially as energy and oil prices continue to decline as well.
It wasn't high under Biden. They're just saying it's not.
Well, nobody reported on it being high under Biden. My predecessor was standing at this podium, but now you want to ask me a lot of questions about it, which I'm happy to answer. But I will just add, there's a lot more scrutiny on this issue from this press corps than there was. Well, in the previous administration said that too. My predecessor stood up at this podium and she said, inflation doesn't exist. She said the border was secure, and people like you just took her at her word. And those were two utter lies. Everything I'm telling you is the truth backed by real factual data. And you just don't want to report on it because you want to push untrue narratives about the president. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. There's a lot there. So Ms. Levitt here says that inflation is down to 2.5. The last report I recently saw is actually 2.7. She said that they inherited the inflation at 2.9. It was actually higher than that. It was at 3.4%. At the top of the year. And they were rolling things back. Which is so interesting that they would sit up there and make up these facts, numbers, and throw out them numbers as if they're factual and no one is going to check it. So inflation being at 9%, depend on what category that you were looking at. What's so interesting is the alternative facts, the lie that inflation was at 1.7 when Trump left office in 2019, 2020. It's alternative facts. And to think that they inherited all this from Biden going rogue and running up everything. They ignore the fact that because of COVID and the stimulus checks that were offered and credit cards being issued at an alarming rate, that had nothing to do with inflation. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. I am dropping the link now for call-ins as I round up things here in this economic section. It is so funny. And then this year we get into the tariffs and she wants to act like the tariffs didn't do anything when this gentleman right here lets you know what is happening with the tariffs. He didn't mean to let it out, but he let it out. Let's hear what he had to say.
Court is going to find with us. And I also think that if they didn't find with us, that it's going to be pretty unlikely that they're going to call for widespread refunds, because it would be an administrative problem to get those refunds out to there. But basically, whoever paid the tariff, like actually cut the check to buy the thing, would be the person who would be getting the refund if there were one.
Doesn't the administration claim it was the country that paid that? You're saying the company.
It would be like I'm not talking about the incidence, right? That so the incidence of the tariff. So in the end, who pays the tariff depends on elasticities of supply and demand. And we know that China cut the price a lot so that the post-tariff price from Chinese goods is about what it was before the tariff. But the people who pay the tariff, if there is a refund, the people who actually paid for the good, the importer in most cases, they're the ones who'd be the first line of defense for refunding the tariff. But I really, really don't think that's going to happen. It'd be very complicated. And then that person would be responsible for allocating the tariff refund to the appropriate folks.
That sounds like a mess.
Yes, it is a mess. And that's why I think the Supreme Court wouldn't do it.
It's a mess because we were lied to as American people. They were saying that these tariffs are being paid for by the country. And what he said there is, no, these tariffs are paid by the companies that import the goods, that purchase that good. And countries like China, where we hiked up the price of tariffs, decided we're going to offset that price by lowering our price to combat the tariff price increase. And by doing so, it doesn't inflate costs on people. What essentially happens economically, the cost went up on everything. What happens inflation wise with said costs, people have to borrow more money to cover the cost. And what begins to have havoc on everything afterwards is how quickly can that cost come back down as they pull the tariffs off. And what happened was that price hike kind of stayed and lingered because they were playing this cat and mouse game of sort with the tariffs as a negotiation tactic, as they were trying to say, to lower the cost of export goods out of the United States. Well, the export costs out of the United States did not change. It has always been low for us to export goods. The problem became when our government wanted a piece of the pie. Hence tariffs. And when they get involved in that, they don't care who gets hurt in the melee, in the aftermath. And the people that get hurt are people like you and I. Because when Walmart has to import, let's say, beef from Australia, and the tariff on Australia was 15%. Well, the price that we pay at Walmart, that 15% is already baked into that price. If you move that 15% to 30% now, the country of Australia is not paying that. No. The business owner is now paying that. And it's not the business owner that's in Australia that's paying it. It's the U.S. manufacturer distributor that is pulling that in from Australia that's paying that tariff. And they're stating that they want to give a refund to the people that have paid these tariffs. The problem with that is, how do you create a system that will reallocate those funds through company? And what he began to unfold and unpack for people that have the ears to hear, the company that sends the product to America with the tariff on it is not responsible. The country that the product is coming from is not responsible. Who is responsible then? It's the United States that's responsible now. And he said it. I don't think the Supreme Court will enforce that. There's no way that we can get that enforced. It becomes a bigger problem than we think. And economically, we're suffering because of the ego of a child known as Kankles, aka Donald Trump. And he doesn't care. Oh, wait. Here's a bigger explanation on what happened with inflation and the stimulus checks. This lady here breaks it down in such a way that I hope that you begin to understand that when we were getting these stimulus checks, it put us into a state of where there was too much money out in our country. And when they had too many dollars out, the demand went high, which makes the cost go high. And to combat that amount of money that's out there, everything had to increase.
Still been the most thriving, vibrant, most successful economy in the world. And we are the largest economy in the world per capita. China is actually technically larger, but they have a lot more people. So their per capita wealth is much lower than ours, much lower. So we are the largest economy in the world per capita. We put the tariffs on the whole world, and the whole world went kind of crazy because it was going to affect their economies. Think German car makers that sell cars to America. Think an Apple phone. Okay, just think of all the things that get made and are brought here. There are certain things, which is the problem, that we just don't make. And so now we're putting tariffs on things we don't make when reshoring them to America it's not necessarily the easiest solution because we may not be able to do it as efficiently, as cheaply. So what does that do? Cause inflation because we're going to pay more. Or the country that we've put out the tariff on is going to pass it through to us because they're trying to maintain their profits. So now we have inflation as part of the conversation, which we've been trying to wrestle to the ground for the last couple of years. That inflation was born out of all the stimulus, all the money we had to print to support the economy during COVID, all those checks people got that helped sustain them, and that PPP, I think it was, all of that we put into the economy that keep us all standing. Well, when you print money, you get inflation. That's just the way it works. That's 101 economics. So things ended up costing more. They were starting to come down. Everyone was complaining about things like eggs and the like. We were getting that down. But when you put the tariffs on, countries start to say, well, I have to charge more. Or if we make it in America, it's going to cost more. One last thing. So you've got that. You've got the prospect of inflation. Then companies start getting scared. And they're like, well, maybe I shouldn't invest and spend, or maybe I should lay people off. Or consumers say, I don't think I should take that vacation. I'm not going to the summit because it looks like it might be challenging. That's when you start getting the recession talk. So those three things are happening at once. And now people are saying, Maybe we're already in a recession. We just don't know it because this is all happening in real time. It's a trifecta of not great. I just want to be honest with you. But it doesn't mean it can't work out, because we've already started to see some at least step back from the edge with the 90-day pause, right. Not helped by the China tit for tat, right. Which I have to tell you, they seem to be dug in both sides, and that's a little discouraging, which is what the market is reacting to now. And the market continues to fear that if the tit for tat with China keeps going and the world leaders stay as concerned as they are, and the absolute conversation stays the way it is, you just birth a recession de facto out of doing this, because everyone just gets really scared, stops spending. The growth of the country slows while inflation goes up, which is this economic concept, and I promise I will stop, called stagflation. The worst. Your economy is slowing down while prices are going up. And that is something that getting out of stagflation gets very challenging.
Ladies and gentlemen, this person here, this lady here, is our canary in the coal mine. And what she is saying is, I'm sounding the alarm on the state of the U.S. economy. We have inflation, which is going up, but our government is saying it's gone down. Unknown to a lot of people, they have already restarted printing money again. And that's because there's a bit of a slowdown going in the economy. If you guys think about what happened during Thanksgiving holiday, not a lot of spending went on for Black Friday. Black Friday is a huge time for companies. Even this Christmas, spending is curved a bit as we're on the actual Christmas Eve. And I'm bringing this state of the economy to the light because I don't want people to be afraid of what's going to happen tomorrow. I would just want you to be aware that life is changing, and the reality in which that you once was living within has changed. It is no longer where you can work at a 9-to-5 job, put a few dollars away, and be good, because cost is going up, and it will continue to go up. They're not going to tell you that the cost is going up because it's not going up globally. When I mean globally, it's not going up on everything. It's going up on certain items. And for some people, their household, the key items may just be eggs, milk, bread. In other homes, it might be the cost of chicken going up, the cost of steak going up, the cost of buying a new car has gone up tremendous since the pandemic. We're not aware of it because many of these things are being made normalized because it's a necessity for us to have it. And we're getting used to the higher costs. And unfortunately, the government is not going to tell you that under this administration, they want you to get used to paying higher costs because that drives up their profits. And that's what they're all about, is their bottom line going higher. This is the woke conversation. Waking up to the fact that there is a recession going on. And it's a slow moving recession. As she described it as a stagflation. It's going to take a while to get out of that. The problem is this administration doesn't know how to articulate that to the American people. And what we'll find is we're going to be in a state of confusion as they try to tell one narrative to keep us focused off of another. Like the Epstein files. Have us all flustered about the Epstein files. Meanwhile, everything we know financially is breaking down. Stock market is in a yo-yo, going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Eventually that string will break, and they're going to have to send out stimulus checks, which will cause costs to go back up inflation-wise. As she said, when there's a lot of money being printed, it's going to cause inflation. It's going to cause everything to go up because their feeling is you have the money somewhere to pay. I need that money. I'm going to make you pay. So eggs will go from $2.99 to $4.99 to $5.99 to $6.99 to $7.99 over time. They're not going to do it overnight. Slowly but surely, as months progress, you'll see the cost go up. Let's get prepared for that. And that is the end of my economic curse. I do have a guest in here, and I'm going to bring him up now. Introducing to the platform right now, Mr. Justin Butler.
What's up, Tyrone? What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's having a happy holiday and Merry Christmas tomorrow. I'm actually surprised Tyrone actually here tonight, but here we are once again.
Hey,
show must go on. Thanks to Tyrone and I, we're always going to be here no matter what. So, Tyrone, there's a couple things I want to get to tonight.
All right.
And first I want to say, looking good tonight, Tyrone. It looks like you got a haircut during the weekend. You look a lot cleaner tonight. So keep it up on there. And you're doing a good job. And some of these things tonight has really got me thinking a lot tonight. And I'm very I'm not gonna say I'm concerned about the future, but I'm watching it closely. As you know, I got some things going on in the new year. Mm-hmm. And I recently found out that I have to have hip surgery on top of that. So yeah, I got it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I gotta have two different procedures in the new year. So I'm really watching it closely. So we're gonna see what happens between now and then. But I just think that we're gonna have to stay prayed up, as always, Tyrone, and these people are gonna get what they deserve, no matter what. Some of these things I don't agree with, and that's okay. That's how I feel tonight. A lot of it I don't agree with, but especially when it comes to President 47. Mm-hmm. We're not gonna say no names because I don't want to go. I don't want to get to that level, but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, I got you, brother. I definitely understand, and I am praying for you. And In fact, one of the things I wanted to show tonight is a prayer by someone before I get out of here. I gotta say like this, understanding that looking at these real things happening around us and the power of prayer, I'll say it works. It absolutely works, because the plan of the enemy was to have people furloughed until spring.
Great.
And because of prayer, these people are back to work.
Right.
Some of the other plans of trying to abolish the Affordable Health Care Act, well, they can't do it. So the prayer worked on that. The prayer for the people that are being affected by ICE raids and everything. Things are starting to turn a corner where we see out in Minneapolis, the police are on the side of the people now, saying no more. This has to end.
I've seen that part. Heard about it.
And to hear you say it, we got to keep praying.
Yeah, stick to praying.
Stick to praying.
Yeah.
Is how we're going to get over. And I think one of the beautiful things about this video that I have that I wanted to end on, I think it's this one.
And I think I wanted to add, Tyrone, stay close to the people that love you the most.
Absolutely, we got to stay close to the people.
Stay close to people that love you the most. Because I stay close to my team every day. Every day I stay close to my team. And there's a reason for that, and Tyrone knows it. Tyrone knows it. I'm gonna keep it.
Right, without it,
I'm gonna keep it at that.
Without having our team rally behind us, we'll find ourselves in a state of depression.
Yeah.
And this video I wanted to share here is a great message by Pastor Curtis that I came across. And I hope this message reaches you and it sticks with you through this holiday, because I let him say it.
Is not established on the shifting sands of our human performance. His promise is established on the bedrock of his unchanging character. And that's why no matter how toxic times have become, I have not lost not 1 minute of sleep based on what's happening, because I'm not trusting what is happening. I'm trusting the character of the God who says, this is my world. It's my creation. I made it. I breathe life into it, and it functions according to my sovereignty and my providence. When Psalm 121 declares that our foot will not slip because the Lord is our keeper, it is making a really profound theological claim. God's persevering power is infinitely more reliable than our ability to keep ourselves upright. You are not walking head high, shoulder square, and feet secure because you so strong. You're walking head high, shoulder square, and feet secure because God is so consistent. His promise is not.
The consistency of God in our lives has to mean something throughout this.
Say that again. Go ahead. That's the truth.
And as we're going through, finding our community and seeing God work through them, the miracles that show up through them, let you know that, like one of my messages last week, you're not alone in this. And two, your turn is coming.
Thank you. Try not to get emotional, but if I get emotional, I apologize.
Because the message in this is God's got you.
Thank you, Tyrone. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tyrone. And thank you, one turn.
And this last one that I have here, Denzel Washington was recently with Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he asked him to pray. He hopped right into it. The prayer that he gave is so powerful. I had to share it.
To close this,
let's bow our heads. Let's bow our heads. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you. We know that to whom much is given, much is expected, much is required. And we know that you require from each and every one of us our undivided love for you. You are our beacon of light in this darkness. And we say thank you and thank you and thank you and thank you and thank you, not just for what you've done, but what you are going to do, what we can't see. Thank you for guiding our steps. Thank you for protecting us when we're getting here and when we leave here today. Just thank you for all that you've done. And I pray and I know that out there in this audience, I just feel the people in this audience, Lord. I feel them, Lord. I feel them, Lord. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I feel them, Lord, and I know that I know you want to touch them all. I pray that something we set up here touches them and makes their relationship with you stronger, better, tighter.
Yes, Lord.
More loving. These things we ask in your Son's name, and we pray, and we know, and we thank you. Amen.
Amen. You just got prayed for by the one and only Denzel Washington. Come on.
God is definitely real.
Yes, sir.
I challenge anyone that views this on a replay to come join us this Saturday. We're definitely coming together on Faithful Warrior Ministries channel on YouTube at 10 a.m. We're going to come together, have a devotional and prayer. And we are excited to pray for you or someone that you want to receive prayer. or any type of prayer request, you can send it over there to us at Faithful Warrior Men Ministries at Gmail, and we'll get it in for you. Because prayer is our tether to the heavens. And each time we anchor ourselves with a connection to heaven, something happens. It may not come instantly. Sometimes it will come instantly. But when it does come through, it comes through in a mighty way. And when it hits, it resonates and permeates across time and space. Let's see here. Yeah, Ms. Kim says this regime is controlling the media. We are getting very little news that we need. My mom just sent me an article about a dangerous new strain of flu. Yeah, there has been a lot of whispers about manufactured COVID 2.0, or really 3.0, going around the northeast, and the northern parts of the Midwest, that they're not trying to talk about, just like they were not trying to talk about these smallpox outbreaks because of their decisions to ignore the red flags and the decisions to not take heed to experts. Ms. Kim asked us to share. I will share this in the Discord. Those that are not aware of the Discord, there's a Discord group under Prophetic Fire Reiki that we're a part of, and we have some conversations over there and share light-filled things amongst each other to kind of keep us moving forward with positivity amongst all this negative stuff that's going on out here in the streets. Stay positive is my message tonight. I know the Christmas holidays are a bit rough on us financially and health-wise, but stay positive is the answer. And I know many people out here will say, how do you stay so positive through so much? You got to find somebody. You can't fill up your cup on your own. And the way that you find somebody is you got to reach out. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your loved ones, reach out to somebody at the church. You got to be vocal about what's going on with you. And I know some people may not be trustworthy in letting that cat out the bag, but you got to find somebody that you trust. Mom, sister, brother, cousin, uncle, friend. And allow them to help stabilize you.
And I want to say one thing. I want to say something else on my camera. The person is the people that just sat around me is my team. They want to sit right next side of me on every Wednesday. And thank you very much, my whole entire team. because I don't know where I would be without my team. Because I give very much one time.
Absolutely, brother. And
that's just how I feel. Yeah.
Those that wish to email me about some things that you see out there, you can share it to me. Send it to my email, mrtdmccollum@gmail.com, and I will get it. And we'll have the conversation up here about it. I thank you all for joining me. I thank you, Mr. Butler, for coming up tonight. And we're almost to the stroke of midnight, about an hour out to celebrating Christmas. What are you doing for Christmas?
I don't have any plans. I don't have any plans for the holiday. What are you doing for Christmas?
We're in the midst of cooking our Christmas dinner. We're gonna have like a roast and collard greens and black eyed peas and stuff. You know, something small and intimate.
Yeah, well, thanks. And do me a favor, send me some pictures, will you?
Definitely.
And I'm always, you guys. I'm always here. Thanks for always being here. And next time we go live will be 2026 because next Thursday is a New Year, or next week is a New Year. So everybody have a happy Christmas and happy New Year's. And thanks for to my whole entire team for getting me through a very rough time. And I'm still going through it. My whole entire team has been there for the whole entire time. So thank you, and I appreciate it very much.
We got you. We're praying for your strength. We're praying for your healing, my brother.
Yeah.
We're praying for God's favor.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. It feels so easy for me to say this. It's already done. Like all the things that you're worried about are going to work out in 2026.
Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that to me.
No problem. I'm more than happy to share all of it with you and be here as a shoulder to lift you up.
Thank you. I'm getting emotional, but thank you for sure. Thank you.
Miss Kim said, when I was little, my mom used to tell me Santa is leaving the North Pole at 10 p.m. So you need to go to bed now. Oh, man, they used to tell me that too, Miss Kim. That was the latest I could stay up. Before then, I had to be in bed by 7:30.
Yeah.
7:30. You know, my mind will wake me up now if I went to bed at 7:30 now, I would be up around 1 easily.
Well, there's some days I'm up until about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Same here. Like it's a lot going on, and if I don't wear myself out, it's hard for me to go to sleep. Oh man, I appreciate you coming up here, man, and I appreciate all of you here that came to watch this live, and those that are watching the replay. If no one has said to you these holidays that they love you, I'm letting you know right now. I love you. I love you.
I love you back down. You already know I love you.
Absolutely, brother. And I bid y'all all a good night.
Merry
Christmas.
We'll see y'all next week.
See y'all. Peace.
Peace.